Woody had gone right to the police, this would never have happened.
Uh-oh.
So, there are liberties being taken, like, there's going to be an increased amount of shit talk.
Oh, I have to remind myself I'm here willingly.
Catch one with a little bit of attitude, big guy?
Man, you champion
Well,
son.
it's a kangaroo court.
What do you mean how is the NFL a kangaroo court?
Could you please let me explain why?
No, I don't want to hear this garbage. Give me an answer to the questions I asked you.
What the fuck are we doing? Come on with it, baby!
That's fine.
Woody had gone right to the police, this would never have happened.
Uh-oh.
So, there are liberties being taken, like, there's going to be an increased amount of shit talk.
Oh, I have to remind myself I'm here willingly.
Catch one with a little bit of attitude, big guy?
Man, you champion
Well,
son.
it's a kangaroo court.
What do you mean how is the NFL a kangaroo court?
Could you please let me explain why?
No, I don't want to hear this garbage. Give me an answer to the questions I asked you.
What the fuck are we doing? Come on with it, baby!
That's fine.
Italian. I'll talk to you later.
All right. My undercarriage is sweating. For the best Italian food in Western New York, Elliott Apollo's, call 716-825-3675. The Lardon Construction Group.
Fubo TV, the official streaming service of Do Champions. FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Do Champions.
For all your summertime needs, beauty pools, as well as kayak pools.
CX Chronicles, your total customer solutions focused manager. W.GG, the official energy drink of Do Champions.
Hey, Sons of Erie, our artwork looks better on your walls. Hamburg Brewing, please visit our tap room on Boston State Road, Hamburg, New York. And finally,
Fat Boy Surf Club for all your surfing needs. All right, and welcome into another edition of the Third Manageable Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Matt Diegert, and as always, to my right, student body right,
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
and our super producer, Ty. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
What up, Ty?
Always happy to be here.
Good to be seen.
Absolutely, and tonight we're going to go through a kind of mock off season here on Third Manageable.
Just mocking each other off.
Yeah, there you go. Good pun. Good pun.
No,
so,
serious.
but we're gonna go through the getting the Bills under the salary cap. Technically, they're already under the salary cap after today's moves. We don't have any numbers yet on Reed Ferguson, but the Greg Rousseau extension got us under the salary cap. So I mean they're in the green right now, and anything else that they do is going to help them in any acquisitions that they make, whether that's a Myles Garrett, a DK Metcalf.
I kind of feel like this is like that like student, that student like discovery card you opened in college that you ran like on senior week like a $400 bar bill on.
No, I don't know. I don't remember that.
Okay, well, this is for the people that have post high school degrees, I suppose. That was mean. That was fucking mean. Anyway, it's kind of like you go to senior week, you spend all this dickloads of money and shit like that, and then you get your first big boy job, and you're like, should I go to happy hour? Or should I pay back past transgressions at happy hour? So we're free and clear with some money. We can move and
shake.
We can move and shake like Shakira.
That's
Shakira.
hips. Hips don't lie.
Okay. Neither does say us.
The salary cap does lie though, because it is.
Salary cap's not fucking real. But again, we'll bring it up. We got Reed Ferguson on the extension. Hey, if you've been listening, you've been paying attention, you've been a fan of us. We're certainly a fan of you. But Greg Thompson, Matt, and Tyler. We went over this, and we told you how dynamic Reed was and how integral and important he was as a player, and he's not fucking leaving. He's not fucking leaving. How cool is that to see that the longest tenured Bill Matthew is going to be here for some time in a very team-friendly deal.
Another 4 years. I mean, I don't know whether that takes him out of the running for grilling in the parking lot. You know,
I think he's always gonna be part of Grills.
Yeah,
Mafia.
Grills Mafia, 42Q. You know, that type of stuff. But
Actually, Ty, don't you have a smoker? Aren't you a pretty proficient smoker of the meats?
I like to dabble. Yeah, it's
I went to college too. We're going back to college.
everybody experiments in college.
Yeah, but he's gonna be. And we talked about that parking lot deal that go and wait for it. We got to get we have salary cap issues. Go and wait in the parking lot. It opens up our ability to sign in the 2025 draft. It opens up our ability to address some needs that didn't get us over that hump of the penultimate game of the Super Bowl. So tonight we are gonna mock it up. We're gonna have some last mock it up. Super producer Ty, throw it to him. He is gonna be our Brandon Bean. We're gonna project with some degree of confidence what we can do further to open up the piggy bank to attract some of these Myles Garrett, some of these DK Metcalfs. I did like Christian Kirk, Matt. We did see that the Jacksonville Jaguars did something. Jacksonville.
Smart. Well, no, it was smart. It was smart of them. I mean, they came out. They let it be known that he's going to be released, and somebody wanted him enough to give him a 7.
What's up, 716 Sports Blizzard? Appreciate your patronage. So let's get into it. Some of the rules. Matt's going to handle the offense. He's going to act as if Joe Brady. And I, being with my defensive acumen, I love telling people how great I am and the level of ball I played. I'm going to be Bobby Babich on the defensive side. We are going to throw it to the judge after every proposed move, which is going to be super producer Ty. He's going to give us a yay or nay. He's going to be like a Howie Mandel. Deal or no deal?
Deal.
Bars.
No bars.
Yeah. So hopefully tonight's going to be everything you need.
Nothing you don't.
And we will get to it. How you feeling after this week? We saw Mr. Rousseau getting paid as a young lad.
I feel much better than I did last year at this time because I mean, man, they had to get under the cap. They were almost $40-something million over the cap last year. This year they came in $16 million over the cap, and they had very little to do. And they did three extensions. The cap went up. They did nothing really major, and they're already $2 million over the salary cap.
Well, why don't you run it right now? The salary cap this year, I believe, is
$279,200,000.
That'll buy you a lifted truck with some truck nuts. So, quick story. I was on, I want to say the Skyway, and I just got a new car. Like as Matt drove it, you liked it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it is in keeping with my insufferable personality. It is an import. Credit to me. But I did see somebody. I know it's the worst. I did see somebody in a way more expensive car next to me with Mississippi plates on it. And the only reason I knew I was drawn to attention of it because one, I don't like things who people have nicer things than me, and two, it was all blacked out, murdered out, brand new Range Rover, like 2025, and it had Mississippi plates. I was trying to go through. That's not Booby Dixon, is it? Who could that be? Actually,
I don't know.
Where's Keon from?
From
Bayou.
Louisiana, the Bayou. Right around where Chase is.
Right, so that's kind of what I was
check
thinking.
out Chase and Data on Thursday night.
Chase and Data, he was chasing viewers the other night. I think he got up to 1,500 in an episode where he talked exclusively about the Aints, which is crazy. If you can make 2 hours of content about the Bayou, being a Raisman fan, you're just added utility. So on Mondays, check out No One to Blame. Tuesdays.
Nothing.
Get some rest. Talk to your family. Get offline. Wednesdays, Coast to Coast with my man Whittle 2K and Beyond 716. Thursdays, Chase and Data. Fridays,
we got nothing right now.
Yeah, you do. You have an obligation to your family and to your Lord above to go get yourself a fish fry, probably at Elliot
That
Apollos.
is true.
It's good fish fry. Hoax and Elliot Apollos, those are our wheelhouse.
I was good Catholic last night. Did not have meat yesterday at all.
Yeah, but how many times did you take the Lord's name in vain?
None, actually.
Even with the Sabres?
None whatsoever. They didn't play yesterday.
How? I know, but
and they made moves yesterday.
you told me
they
that
made moves yesterday. So I'm
made moves.
They did.
Okay, well, let's do this real quick before we get into it. If the Sabres were run like the Bills, we'd be in Toronto. We'd be in Toronto, and we'd be taking over the Toronto. What is it, Scotiabank Arena? We'd be taking that over. Instead, we're going to have the Maple Leafs in
Well,
town.
that would be if the Bills were run like the Sabres, not the other way around. If the
Sorry, I
if
misspoke.
the Sabres were run like the Bills, they'd be contending for a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and you know what? If my aunt had wheels, she'd be a bike. So, Ty, what'd you have going on this week? Did you eat meat yesterday? You get your protein in?
I had a slice of pizza.
Okay.
LCP.
Pepperoni?
Yeah, LCP.
Yo, he comes up with these with these acronyms, much like Bow Wow, best available when available.
Yep.
LCP, why don't you tell what LCP is?
Large cheese and pep, baby.
No, amazing. So, anyway, Matt, why don't you swing it to us and tell them what we're doing?
Yeah. So first and foremost, we are going to go through where we are right now. We know that one of two things is going to happen with Josh Allen. He's either going to be restructured or he's going to be extended. Depends on when they do that, if that part, any bit of that money. But we're going to start off with just a basic restructure or simple restructure. As we know from how we've seen Brandon Beane work in the past, and how he structures contracts and talking to Greg Tomset. Brandon Beane likes to put it into the contract that he doesn't have to go to the player and get permission to basically write a check to them to change certain bonuses and things like that. So that's something that we're just going to start right off with, is a Josh Allen simple restructure, and then also with the additional with the $2 million that they're over the salary cap or under the salary cap right now. So we actually have a graphic for that. We're starting the.
These are going to be the
salary cap-
parameters, the house rules.
We're starting the salary cap at $12,986,398 after that simple restructure of Josh Allen and all the moves that they made today. I did include in there. I don't know how much. We don't know the Reed Ferguson number, but I did take $1 million off there just as a
pauper sum,
a baseline, just so we have something in there. With that being said, you can see it on the screen where we're thinking right now, how we're thinking as far as what's going to happen on the offense and defensive side, and where we're going to be sitting with the where we're going to be sitting at the end of this. But with that being said, how do we want to get into this?
I want to go into this that my job's a little bit harder. For things that we've already done. This is meant to be a educated a show with some lighthearted banter and hopefully some good clips to break up your work week. But he kind of made light work of these restructures and extensions. Both the first one, Greg Rousseau.
Yep.
And
Terrell Bernard.
and
Like
the second one.
literally,
The captain's back.
We were pre-planning this show, and we were talking on Wednesday night or Thursday, whenever that was, and hey, let's get an extension done for Terrell Bernard. Let's get an extension done for Greg Rousseau. Let's work those into the numbers and see where we're sitting. And we had to come up with a couple other things here that may not get done, but we wanted to do it as so we have this exercise done for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So Matt, we'll throw it to you. Your first one you want to go with and propose to our super producer Ty, and who will be acting as Brandon Beane. Who are you going with first?
Yeah, so the first one I'm going with is Dawson Knox. I'm going with a simple restructure for him, and that's going to save on the cap. $6,247,500 in salary cap this year. So that'll just pay him right up. That is something we can do to clear up some money and potentially acquire something on the offensive side of the ball.
That was a terrible pitch. You gotta pitch it with him. So I'm gonna do that. Why Knox? Why Knox? Why'd you start there? Josh is predicated, but why Knox? I feel like is it a money thing? Is it a longevity thing? Do you think Do you think he hasn't lived up to it? So I know. This is a FedEx envelope he has to send back, right? These restructures, right? Did you see that thing to Josh Allen, by the way? He was playing like 36 rounds of golf, and then he had to leave to run to FedEx or whatever. I don't know if this is a true story, but this is whenever he restructured last, because he's playing so much golf, he had to just sign his like real restructure real quick and then FedEx it back. I cannot believe we're not in an age of like DocuSign, like digital payments. I mean, this is coming from the most tech savvy podcast in the world. So, we'll throw it to Ty. Ty, he wants to restructure Dawson Knox with a potential 2025 cap saving. $6,245,500. Ty, what do you say?
I would have to agree.
You're going to approve it.
I'm going to approve that one. I love to keep him around. I love him and Kincaid, what they're doing both. Kincaid had some injuries last year. He's got to maybe put some muscle on, maybe not get as injured as much. But, yeah, I'd love to keep the both of them around, and I would approve that.
Great.
So that's going to bring our number 2 right now. That is going to be. Can I have the salary cap numbers again, real quick,
Absolutely.
so we can kind of go through this here. Let's take a look here. So we are at 12,986.
Once again, this is predicated on Josh Allen.
398, correct. And we are going. Can I get the Dawson Knox number again? 6,247,500. We are at $19,233,898 right now in salary cap.
Come on with it, Ty. Let me get it real quick. Come on with it, baby. I'll go next. I'll take it next. Guys, this has to happen. Matt, I know you're taking it off sense of the ball. This has to happen. We did it last year. Yep. I mean, it's restructuring his contract. It provides.
His is more renegotiation. His is not
Correct.
a restructure. So
in 2024, Miller agreed to the pay cut. We reduced his base salary to $17.145 million. We reduced that down to $1.5 million. We did supplement that with a $7 million roster bonus, with some, with some other caveats and accelerators. That did save us $8.02 million. I think there's more to go here. It's just. I know you put out the dance and everything like that, but we had high hopes. If we can take any real relative value of being fans and you having to do that dance, there's high hopes, and there has to be concessions here. So you really think it's a restart? It might be a renegotiate.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Sorry. Yeah, it's a renegotiate because it just hasn't lived. It hasn't lived in. It's no fault of his own. Anybody that pays attention
Can't control injuries. That's the main thing. You can't.
I would go farther. You can't control Father Time because he's undefeated. So bringing it back right here, super producer Ty, I do want to renegotiate Von Miller, renegotiate Von Miller.
And just so anybody sees on the screen, we just basically copied what they did last year. It may be a little bit differently, but we also do have to remember he was getting about $4 million more in incentives last year, or actually no, that number's a little bit off. I screwed that up. That's my fault. So that number would come down by about $4 million. So the incentives would be about $5.645 million because he hit 6 sacks last year, and those would now be likely to be earned incentives. The $11 million is the correct number. So, but the incentive part of it, I got wrong. That's actually got to come down by about $4 million.
So we throw it to super producer Ty. I think this is going to be an easy one. So don't mess with me on this.
Yeah,
super producer Ty, what do you think?
Right, absolutely right. That's an easy one. It's got to happen. And
Come on with it.
It will happen. So,
Come on with it.
Approved.
Good. Awesome. Hit it. Come on with it. Come on with it, baby. And if anybody doesn't know, that is a good friend of the show. That is Mr. A. Will. We'll throw it back. What else is pressing? Now that we have it predicated that Josh Allen's going to do a little dance, we have it now that you want Knox to do a little dance. Who's the next on the Play-Doh block?
My next one is going to be Deion Dawkins. We know how the Snowman is very willing to help the team out. He is that's something that needs to be done. That is a big number for him to be, able to write that check for him. So that's my next one is going to be Deion Dawkins, and I really want to do that so we have some more wiggle room on the offensive side of the ball.
Let me argue against that. That's you couldn't ask for better play. Once he got his weight managed, appropriately, we do know they had show up because there was a crazy amount of weight gain and stuff like that, and that obviously has to do with fluency in your pass set. It has to do with your kick slide, but that offensive line played great, so it seems disingenuous to go to that well to ask them to change their comp.
But it's not changing anything. You're not really. He's just accelerating when he gets that money. That's really all it is. That's all a simple restructure is.
Hey, call it the horseshoe I tap before I leave every room. You know what I mean? I just don't. You keep the main thing.
The main thing.
Right. So maybe that's just my apprehension there. One of the things I love, real quick, toss hands real quick. The slap down. You didn't see too many big cat paws, and I don't think that's talked about enough. Matt, what's a big cat paw according to this podcast?
When you get the hand up.
Hand up into the throwing lane.
Yep.
Josh had some clear throwing lanes, and when you got a quarterback that's 6'5" and his blind side is so well protected, it's interesting. But I think if you're comfortable doing this, you have to also be comfortable with kind of the media parade Deion has been on from my side of the ball, and that's to acquire who?
Myles Garrett.
Right. So if you're letting him be a spokesperson, in a recruiter, I mean, this kind of feels like the NBA, A
little bit, but I mean, when it comes down to it, it really, he unfortunately doesn't have any really negotiating power because technically they have 2 years left on his deal in Cleveland, and then they can franchise him tag twice. So he, if they really wanted to, get into the nitty gritty and really stand their ground, he could be there for another 4 years before he's even let go.
So we go throw it to super producer Ty. Ty, what are you saying about a Deion Dawkins restructure with a cap savings of $9,832,000?
I would say, it's something that we wish we can get done. Deion is a likable dude. He wants to be here in Buffalo, and he wants to win. So it's a conversation that we're going to have, and, we're going to pull for it because we want that Myles Garrett trade.
So you're pulling for him, and it sounds like you're going to hit the... Come on with it, baby! He's approved. All right. Well, do you know what that brings us to right now, Manny?
Let me get the number.
Absolutely. There's a base number right here.
No, the Deion Dawkins number?
Absolutely, sir. Deion Dawkins number with the potential cap savings of $9,832,000. That's going to bring us quickly.
$40,379,898.
I'm pretty sure that's what we pay Tony Romo per syllable. Anyway, moving on to me. Touchy one, AJ Epinesa. He's playing great ball. He's got a lot of room to work, but this is a draft-heavy class, of which a draft-heavy class I do like. Maybe not an exterior, one of those stand-up rushers, the kind of way he plays ball. Like, I love Jordan Phillips. Not the Jordan Phillips you're thinking about. Jordan Phillips from the University of Maryland, where I have him pegged is an early second. I just think he plays a great brand of ball. Once again, Jordan Phillips from the University of Maryland. I'm going against my personal ethos. When I played, I'm going against, what I like is I always thought, Matt, this, that if you wear a single digit in college as a defensive lineman, you're selfish.
Really?
Kind of.
Why would you think that?
It's a little showy. It's like get in the trenches, get with the hogs. Snort out. What is that, Chuck Dickerson?
Yeah.
It's horrible.
One is number one. If you're wearing number one, you might have a point there, but
really,
absolutely.
Name some like low level numbers or some obscure defensive lineman number. What was Mount Cody? Mount Cody wore like number whatever. Harrison Phillips wore 66. That's a real quick. It rhymes with a D. What's Harrison Phillips? He's a dog. So anyway, I'm going to propose AJ Epinesa with a potential cap savings of $3,517,500. So throw it to super producer Ty. What do you think about that?
Can't do it.
What?
I gotta go nope on that one.
Okay, get bent.
Well, you just gave him an extension last year, 2 years, $12 million, $4 million sign-on bonus. 10 of that was guaranteed. You can't take money out of the hands of the guy we just paid 12 months ago.
Damn it, Matt. Damn it. He's right. Damn. All right, that's not approved. That's not approved. So the number remains, as Matt reads it off. The number remains a paltry $40,379,898. 898. House rules right here. This is what I'm proposing, and we move on to Mr.
Spencer Brown.
Spencer Brown. Here's the graphic right here.
Now it is just a little bit of a restructure, a little bit of a simple restructure, 1.6, and I think that's we all know that he's probably going to be here for a little while, so it's not a bad thing to push that number out, that some of his numbers out, and go through there. So I really think that Spencer Brown, give him some of that, some of that bonus right up front, so that we can clear up some of the cap space to continue to have money to work with.
Absolutely. We throw it to super producer Ty. With those savings, what say you?
This is the easy one.
Come on with it, baby! Oh, he's doing it. Matt, I got to ask you about some of these things here. How did you arrive at drafting your lots here? Was it largely predicated on Josh and stuff like that, or do you think these are quality character guys that we want around, that we want to pay them up front?
So the way that I looked at it for my on my side of the ball, on the offensive side of the ball, I really looked at guys, number one, who had a large number. That's the main thing that can clear up cap space quickly to help the Bills make some of these moves, but also to some of these guys that are not necessarily young, but they're young enough where you don't see a lot of drop off from just like we talked about with Greg a couple weeks ago. Just some of these guys that don't have a lot of drop off from like offensive line position. You don't typically see a drop off until like they're 33, 34, 35 years old, and both Deion Dawkins and Spencer Brown, that number is gonna and with the cap going up, continuing to go up, but also too, I had to keep in mind as well is we don't want to take the too much of the number for next year, because we only do have, I think it's 35 guys signed next year. And we still have to continue to do a lot of different things.
I hear it right now. So with the potential savings for Mr. Spencer Brown of 1.64, 800. We'll throw it to super producer Ty. Ty, what do you say about a potential savings with Spencer Brown? We just pay him, so you want to keep it consistent? What do you want to do here?
Yeah, same boat as the Epinesa deal. You just paid the man, and it's a tough deal.
Ooh, suck it, dude.
But you have to remember.
Oh, he's coming at you.
You have to remember, we're not taking money out of his pocket. It's just a simple restructure where literally it's just taking some of his.
I've heard enough.
His bonus.
I've heard enough. He rolled. I've heard enough.
Yeah, ruling is settled.
Okay. Sorry, buddy. You're fucking out. Kenny Powers is fucking in. Hey, Tyler, is there a Kenny Powers on this roster?
Your boy. He's coming in every time to set the tone, and that's why we love him. He's
a guy who can throw the ball faster than fuck, and that is why he is a dog and better than everyone.
Yeah.
Kiss. No, well, kiss my cleats and suck my Gatorade, everyone. So
yeah, he's the dude that's gonna push that guy off like 10 yards into the bleachers on the other.
This
end.
is the end of
he's
tape.
The bruiser. He's the bruiser.
Oh, we got a question from the young Bruck. If anybody doesn't remember the young Bruck, he was with us for a little bit. He's at Built in Buffalo right now. Good guy, very knowledgeable guy. He's up in Curd country, Wisco. I'm a big Wisconsin guy. Not a big J.J. Watt guy. Not a big Russell Wilson guy. Big Jonathan Taylor guy, though. But shout out to everybody. He wants to know, hey, guys, longtime listener, how would you guys feel about Khalil Mack? I'm going to throw it to the guy who was briefly playing a little bit of UB ball, a little bit, boxing and all that stuff. Hey, come on, man. You play college football. You can't shy away from it. Super producer Ty, he's an alum of your school, but he is from, I think, Plantation, Florida, somewhere around that area. What do you think about Khalil Mack? Because you touched on it last week, man. Hit us with it straight.
I mean, he'd have to take a discount of what he wanted as far as money. He's up there in age. He's only got, a few miles left in the tank. Would love to have him. I'm sure he'd love to be back up here in Buffalo, but he would have to take a discount as far as what I'm seeing. Now,
okay, I'm going to push you farther. Is it analogous to a Von Miller signing? Like, towards the end, we're not talking Odell Beckham journeyman, but we're talking like, your third team, you're a bit of a journeyman. You're trying to cash those last checks. You're trying to make sure not that your daughter is set up, not that her daughter's set up. I feel like these last checks are for generational wealth. Isn't that the same energy that you argued against with Keon and DK? Like, you got two of them. What do you need two for? And if you did bring on Khalil Mack, who's he on the field with? Who's his partner on the other edge currently on the roster? Is he with Epinesa? Is he with for the tutelage of a new draftee? Who would you pair him if you want him back, Ty? I'll throw it to Matt.
Well, it's got to be Epinesa. We just gave him that money last year, that $12 million extension. So Epinesa's here to stay. We can't, really get rid of him. Khalil, loved him as a player. But, the money is just, it's not there right now, but we'll see.
That's why we're doing the show. We're trying to make it. It's a question from Mr. Tommy Giamber, good guy, to do champions. Maddie, he wants to ask you, do we trade, sensitive subject, man. Yeah. Do we trade Kyer Elam and save the $2 million?
I mean, it's definitely a good way to save money, but
gotta have a trade partner.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we heard the rumors today, Carolina. So I mean, we'll definitely see how that happens. I'm of the mind, he's still a young guy, still a young cat, and I think that he can, potentially move. Still, I don't know. I'm kind of tripping over it right now just because I'd like
is that
to
a
see
personal
him.
thing?
Yeah, it kind of is. I'd like
it's
to
it's okay, and I think there should be some discourse on this, Matt. It's okay to have personal relationships with people on these teams. It's okay to know the character of guys. If the character of the locker room is of importance to you, then hearing about what we know of the character of an individual should be of interest to you. So I struggle with it too. We know Kyer. Kyer's he's a Philo guy.
Very hard work.
First in, last out. Philo, first in, last out for any of you accounting majors out there. He does everything right. He missed I think he missed a charity event with me and you. Why did he miss that charity event? Because he was at Bible study.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kyer's dad played. He played on the Jets. I got an opportunity to meet him, not through Eric Wood. Damn it. Damn it.
0 days.
Just hit me a come on with it real quick, Tyler. 0 days. I can't stop mentioning fucking Eric Wood. Anyway, we know him a little bit, and it'd be sad to see him go, but I'm not an apologist. I did not think he got cooked the way everybody thought he got cooked in those later games. I thought he got targeted. I thought he got picked on, but I didn't think he got cooked. Go ahead.
He got picked on, dude.
Yeah, but did he get cooked? Was he a liability or a weakness?
Yes, in the Kansas
Stop
City
it.
game.
I want him to answer. Stop it. Was he a liability or a weakness? And then you can answer.
Man, he got drafted to play man coverage, and we don't do it. And
But that's what he played at Florida.
Yeah. But
he didn't do that well.
That raises the question of why did we, believe that he would transfer over, and I thought he would, but you know what? It hasn't been his game.
Okay, I'll throw it to Matt. Now, do you agree with that ethos?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
You're Matt.
No, I mean,
what the fuck?
I think that he got cooked against Kansas City. I really do.
Is that because of the DPIs, the holdings, or because of general performance?
I think
because if we're
it's
gonna hold someone to overall transgressions, how about we talk about Dion with all the personal fouls of the after play chatter? How about we talk about another friend of the show, Alec Anderson, 2 times forgetting to check in the games? Keep that same energy. You tell me.
But that's the thing. That's not getting cooked on the field. Those things, yes, they cost us a couple of yards, but Kyer is literally falling all over himself on the field trying to play in man coverage in something that he's supposed to be really good at, and he's just not. Whether it was
It's a little too handsy
because of who he was going against, because a lot of times he
wasn't going against. Yeah, he wasn't going against.
A lot of times he was going against Hollywood Brown.
He just resigned.
Yeah, I mean that was somebody that a lot of people thought that if he left Kansas City might be an option here in Buffalo. But it's tough because you'd like to see him get another chance here, especially if they are changing their to more of a man defense in the back end. I mean, we'll definitely see how that comes to, whether that comes to fruition or not. But adding coaches like Pellegrino from New England and things like that, it just seems like that's more the way that they're going, and why that they're talking about bringing in a major pass rusher and also trying to shore up the defensive line in the middle there, and getting a better 3-tech. A better 1-tech. So I mean, it definitely just depends on what can cut. It comes down to, is him being on the field more of a liability than the $2 million you're saving in salary cap?
Okay, I like that answer. Moving on, who's it to? You just got off of it, so I'm back on it. My next one is Benford. God, FCS guy. One time, you see the helmet behind me. I'm an FCS guy. And the best part is he plays in the same conference, the CAA, the Colonial Athletic League, as the Delawares, as the New Hampshires, as the Maines, and as the Monmouth Universities where I played. So I love the FCS guy, and I also love Benford. Let's solidify this, Matt. And Matt, I'm gonna shave off a little bit of my diatribe for you because I know you like Benford.
Yeah.
I know he's a value guy. Does it add to the ethos that we fall asleep in the first 2 rounds and only get value in the back, 4, 5, 6? No. You're not a NASCAR fan if you think they turn on the petrol or the Nas. Like, Angela, or was it Monica? No! You know who that is, Ty? Ja Rule, baby. Every dog needs a lady. That was weird. Anyway, you like Benford.
Yes.
Tell me why you like Benford.
I like him a lot just because he's a very good man corner, and he plays within himself, and being an FCS guy.
I like him. Spencer Brown.
Yeah, he didn't get a lot of clout coming out, but if he goes to a bigger school, you're probably talking about him in not being a Buffalo Bill right now. Or he is, and they take him instead of Kyer. You never know, but it's just another thing that
Villanova's definitely not known as a football school.
Yeah, Brandon Bean.
Brian Westbrook went there, I think, right?
Brandon Bean and his scouting staff does a wonderful job in the last rounds. It doesn't mean he's sleeping.
Shout
in the
out
first,
Sil Moba. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't mean he's sleeping in the first 3 rounds. It's just, I mean, other than the DK Metcalf year, when I was real pissed off about that, like, what's Cody Ford doing now? Making TikToks?
That's mean. Anyway, I'm going to propose 2. Super producer Ty. Market value right now, 4 years, $22.96 million a year. 91.85 million total. We kicked the rock down a couple blocks, maybe down to the Big Tree Inn. Not a ton of savings with 1.844, 800.
But he's locked up for 4 years.
And that's the
4
integral
additional
part, and that's why I am proposing it. Mr. Brandon Bean, Mr. Super Producer Ty, what do you say about that?
We got to keep him happy, man. We got to keep him on the squad. I don't think
agree.
that is a pivotal part of this process. I'm going nope on that one. I want to keep that man happy. And
So you're going yes.
Christian Bedford, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I hear you. With that savings, 1.8. He's just smiling at me. He's like, nope. JK. as he takes a slug of Michelob Ultra. So with the savings, Matt, of 1.844.
Yep.
800. What does that bring us to, Manny?
That's going to bring us to 42,224,698. And my final one that I'm going to want to do is I think we really need to lock up Connor McGovern.
Interesting that he replaced Mitch Morris, and Mitch Morris does retire. Great career, my man. We'll throw it to you. Good career.
Yeah, the extension is probably a good idea for him. It's going to save. It's going to save us about $4.2 million on the salary cap, but also going to lock up for another 3 years a guy who literally played 100 snaps of center in college, and that's it, and moved over to center and made it look,
came from Dallas, yeah.
Yeah. Made it look easy. Made the transition look easy, and just continued right on that and helped get top 5 offensive line unit in the NFL. So 3 years, $7.71 million per year at $23.15 million total, with an extension savings of $4.224
I like how you
million.
split it, yeah. Very good. What's that bring us into a value total before I asked Ty? Ty, what do you think about a Connor McGovern restructure?
Absolutely approved.
Okay, hit me with a come on.
Come on, man.
Very good. Reading it back, Maddie.
We're at $46.4 million right now.
Not yet, because I got one more. Mr. Ed Oliver. Ed, just do it.
Yeah.
Just fucking, I don't got to pitch this. Just do it. Can you approve this, please? Please don't. I'm not pitching you anymore. Please just do this, please, for me. It's important to me, please.
Oh, it's approved, man. We're on good terms.
That was the best pitch I had all night, Matt. That was the best pitch
Can I get that number?
Night. Absolutely. With a savings currently of the way I propose it, 8.72. That brings us number to Matt.
55, 168, 698.
I love it right now. Give me it with one more time, because that was a great pitch. Come on with it, baby! And finally,
That's it. That's it. That's all we got right now.
we're under.
We are $55 million under the cap before we start free agency here.
Yeah, just because he didn't approve. Which, in retrospect, man, I get why you didn't approve it, Ty. I get why you didn't approve it. I don't like you for not approving it, and being your older kin. I won't say how we're related if you can't figure it out. I'm the diabetic one. Matt, before we wrap this up, because we got through this quickly, let's talk about best available when available. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about some agency needs real quick. Your free agency needs, you put that together.
Yeah.
And that's an old cap space number. Don't take that. Of those, the wide receiver, the safety, the quarterback, the defensive tackle, running back, and defensive end, where do you pen our needs now in our current cap situation? Where do you pen our need?
So it's really going to depend on if they do make that one big splash, because I think it's truly going to be one big splash, whether it's DK Metcalf or it's going to be a Myles Garrett and Trey Hendrickson. So I really do want to talk about that for a second, because do you bring in a DK Metcalf?
I'm going to throw it to Ty.
Hold on. Do you bring in a DK
Okay,
Metcalf?
yeah, further question. Yeah.
Do you bring in a DK Metcalf, or do you and re-sign him for upwards of $30 million, or do you bring in a Myles Garrett that's going to be probably making just a little bit more than what Max Crosby just signed for in over $35.5 million?
They're two diametrically opposed things, because they're diametrically two different sides of the ball.
But you can truly, you can do both. Like, let's be serious, but you're going to kill yourself
You're going to mortgage
later on.
the future.
You're mortgaging the future.
You're going to take the blueprint of what got the Browns in this situation with Myles Garrett, and copy it with us. How much do we want to mortgage the future? I think that's largely predicated on how long our window is. We've done less with more, Matt. Of the two, DK and Miles, who do you think makes an immediate impact? Because those are leveraging the future trades.
Well, and that's my thing is
these are trades.
Does DK Metcalf make enough of a difference on the offensive side of the ball, where he's going to be working with Josh Allen? Because he immediately comes in and he's that alpha. He's that number one wide receiver. He is that guy. Does Josh Allen need a guy like that? Whereas on the we heard McDermott say is you need on either side of the ball 2 or 3 impact type players. You need so they don't really have a lot on defense. They have Ed Oliver who's supposed to be an impact player. They brought back an impact player in Terrell Bernard. So do you need one more guy on that side of the ball in a Myles Garrett? Does that help? Because you could always bring in a one tech like a BJ Hill or a
but we're talking about who pushes us over the proverbial hill that we seem to be getting within blades of grass closer to a serping. I don't know if the offensive side of the ball is what you address.
I'm of the same mind. I'm taking Myles Garrett over DK Metcalf all day long.
And Tommy John agrees. Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, which makes more of an impact right away. I do think it's Myles Garrett. But do we just kind of go by the Detroit Lions mold and score as many points and don't worry about the defense, or do we
kinda?
I mean,
no, it's kind of no. I'm saying it's a valid comment.
But or do we get somebody like a Myles Garrett or a Trey Hendrickson and try and stop the Chiefs one more time? Before they scored, because in all reality, yes, the Bills are not building their team to beat one team, but it just kind of since 2000, the COVID year, we've seen them in the playoffs every single year but one. Mm-hmm. So, and we're 0-4 again.
Past performance is not indicative of future results.
It's not, but. Do you see them again? Are you seeing them again in the AFC Championship game next year? Are you seeing them again in the AFC Divisional round next year? Because we're getting, there's only 2 teams that we haven't been able to get over in those games, and that's the Chiefs and the Bengals.
Throughout the super producer Ty, Myles Garrett versus DK, if it came to a binary decision, which one do you think has the greater impact and is more realistically to be signed under this roster when we kick off in September?
It's Myles Garrett. If you look at the Eagles and what they did in the Super Bowl,
I guess they both are.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you look at what these teams do, like the ones that they're successful in the trenches, you need to have that powerhouse in the trenches.
I like
look
that
at
take.
The Eagles in the Super Bowl, where was Mahomes? Where was he? And look at that defense on the other side, the Eagles. So I think Myles Garrett would absolutely destroy. And if we got DK, it's kind of like, why did you draft Coleman? Do you not trust the process? Do you not trust his development?
Do you not trust what we're already doing? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you need that powerhouse. And like you said, he's coming in. If you looked at him in their interviews, I don't know what they are, definitely like personality, but it's a team built on that as well. It's a team built on who fits, in the locker room as well. But I'm going with my man from Cleveland.
Yeah, Texas A&M guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all of the same mind too. I'd rather see them, because they did in the end put up 29 points against the Chiefs. That should have been enough to win. That should have been plenty to win. That the defense in the end did their job. They got Josh Allen the ball left with 3 minutes and 33 seconds left, and he could not go down and score. But if the defense maybe stopped them a couple of more times earlier in the game, and maybe Myles Garrett gets them down, we're not in that position. And we saw what happened in the Super Bowl with against the Eagles against the Chiefs. If you're putting a lot of pressure on Patrick Mahomes. It's not coming down to a situation where Josh Allen has to play hero ball and go forward.
I hear you, and this just seems like an opportune time to plug this. We've been doing this podcast for right around a year. I joined Maddie on another network. We went on Starting to Zone, so we would like to thank you guys all for your patronage. Here's some of the guests that we have had on in the past. And you're going to see a crowning one in a beautiful pink button-up right there, Mr. Ryan Talbot.
Super excited.
Super excited for Ryan Talbot. Why don't you tell him what we got in store next week for Ryan Talbot?
Yeah, so next week we actually have Ryan Talbot on. We'll be live from Elliot Apollo's with him and doing this.
No food challenges this year. No food challenges.
No food challenges. We did come up with one, but we'll definitely have to. It's a cannoli challenge. You're the one who came up with it.
I don't like dessert. You know that.
I know that, but it's not me who came up with it. You came up with the challenge, so. It's not me who did it. So, but I'm super excited next week to have Ryan Talbot on. He's a very, very good friend of the show, and glad to be able to actually have him on live in person with us next week.
We're not going to get one guy live in person, but we will get someone live. Following that up, we have Mr. Alex Brasky,
the 29th.
29th coming on. So we got a lot of impactful stuff. But one thing I do want to address as we inch closer and closer to acquiring new talent is the BAWA. Matt, tell them what the BAWA is.
Best available when available.
Best available when available versus need versus development versus depth versus weighted utility. We're going to start hammering that hard. We're going to talk about that with Mr. Ryan Talbot. We are going to talk about that with as many people that will listen. Matt, anything else on your mind? When do you think this JA thing does come out? If you are correct that it will come out.
I don't know when they're going to do it because
You think it's already done?
I don't know. I mean, it'd be a good wedding present for him. That's all I'm going to say on that.
When's he getting married?
March.
Do you think it's? By the way, do you think it's
31st?
Weird? I think it is weird, and we'll make this a social piece, and I want everybody's opinion. I think it's weird when beat people congratulate. Maybe they have, I guess, a different relationship. But I'm going to sneeze real quick. Anyway. I just think it's weird when people are like, "Hey, congrats on that baby." I think it's weird when people are like, "Hey, congrats on that engagement." I don't know. You think it's weird? Just taking phone calls right now. Ty, do you think it's weird?
Yeah, stay out of their business. I don't know. Just
You don't give a shit.
No.
Absolutely.
Good
So,
for you.
yeah, on behalf of the Third and Manageable podcast, on behalf of Matt, who is that? Your tax accountant?
Yeah, we're not talking about
That was DoorDash, wasn't it?
It was.
No free shout outs. Anyway, we'd like to thank Elliot Apollos. We'd like to thank Sons of Erie. We'd like to thank
Fat Boys Surf Club,
Beauty Pools, Kayak Pools,
W.GG,
Mackenzie Tree Farm, FanDuel, Fubo TV. Yeah, all the big boys. That's how we pay the bills here. We'll play this out here.
Let's touch on some free agents first real quickly before we do that. That is one of the main reasons why we cleared up salary cap space.
Sure,
right?
get into it. I'm going to take a squirt.
So we've been putting out for the past couple of weeks. We've been putting out on Twitter, and Instagram and all the social media. Certain players that are salary cap, free agents targets for us here. One of them is Khalil Mack. Another one is going to be, with the Jonathan Allen release. One of them is going to be him. I'm just going to go through these here real quickly. Let's take a look here and see. So, and here's the thing. I think that they need to bring in that second corner. Ty, I don't know how you feel about a second corner opposite of Christian Benford. I'd like to see that either in free agency or the draft this year. I know those are really the only two ways to bring guys in, but I'm more leaning towards the draft on that one than I am for free agency. I'm a big fan of Trey Amos. We'll get into that when we do get that. My mock draft, my version 1 mock draft is out on Twitter, on Instagram, and things like that. It'll soon be up to our website, do-champions.com. Once that is all up and running, you'll be able to go through there and go through and see mock drafts and any articles that any of the guys from Do Champions has put out. But also, I think that one of the ones for me personally that I would love to see for the Bills is Elijah Moore. Is Elijah Moore because he hasn't played with a good quarterback in his career yet here in the NFL. You can get him. We can get him. If these numbers are from and all the numbers we have are from Spot Track. We didn't make them up or anything like that. They do a great job there over at Spot Track. No free shout outs, but that's definitely something that one place that I love going for all these numbers. But Elijah Moore, he's almost 25 years old. One year, $4.54 million. I think that that is definitely that's definitely somebody that I really think that is somebody that the Bills could target. 4.35 coming out of college. He had an 8.68 RAS score. Definitely think that he is somebody that the Bills should target personally. I also think that they should be targeting a safety. Whether it's Julian Blackman, Jeremy Chin, any of those guys. Also, too, the one that I would be, we were just talking about the cornerbacks, Ty. We were talking about the cornerbacks. I really think that one of them that I'd be interested if he got out of Los Angeles is Asante Samuel Jr. I
loved him out of the draft.
I would be pumped if the Bills were able to pick somebody like him up and put him opposite, and then on top of that bring in Trey Amos. That would make me okay with them getting rid of Kyer, right? So
I totally agree.
So I mean it's. Trey Amos is one of the best cornerbacks in the draft. I think that pairing him with Christian Benford and Asante Samuel Jr. is definitely going to would be a huge move for the Bills. And we just as guys sitting on a couch, we cleared up $55 million pretty quickly on just a few guys. So. I think that there's a way to bring him in there. And Asante Samuel Jr. is not a guy that
He's got the pedigree.
Is not a guy that would be very expensive. 4 years, $11.46 million is his market value from Spot Track. So I think that would be a good acquisition. And he's just 25 years old. So
speaking of acquisitions, we got a question from the Peanut Gallery. Just kidding, Tommy Girama, he's the man. Tyler, what do you think about signing Davante Adams? Guy kind of at the tail end of his career, much like an OBJ situation, but a little bit more reliable when it comes to durability. And coming off of a highly talked about, a highly buzzworthy reunion with an old quarterback that just never materialized. Obviously, both his quarterback's time, Aaron Rodgers in New York, as well as Davante Adams' productivity. Now, if he goes to the Twitter conversation, do we bring him on? What say you, Davante Adams?
I mean, I still think he's got a lot left in the tank, but to be honest with you, I really feel like he's going to follow wherever Rodgers goes, whether that's the Giants. They're talking to him now, but yeah, still got some mileage left on him. If I had to pick between him and DK, though, I would go DK, even though the comments I made about Coleman. I would still go DK over Davante, but age, that's a factor as well. But I would go with DK if you had to get a wide receiver.
Nice. Any questions for me and Matt? We'll take some couple questions in the comments. We appreciate all 250 of you guys watching.
The other one that I'm very interested in, and he's a one tech, is DJ Jones. Would very much love for the Bills to sign him, even though he is just 30 years old. Bring him in here. I think he would unlock a lot of things with Ed Oliver. So, I think he would unlock a lot of things from Ed Oliver. So I really think that DJ Jones would be a good one to have. So I mean, it's I don't know what you think about that, Ty.
Not a conversation for him, but hopefully it might be a conversation. Matt, it feels like a little bit of a reunion when we go and do this. This is the young Bruck. Used to produce for us. He was at Dew. Now he's at Built in Buffalo. He's definitely got a lot to say. A good friend of Matt and I's. I know, Ty, you don't know him that well, but I'd like to welcome to the stage from Built in Buffalo, Mr. Pat Brookness. Pat, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
We're doing well. A little four-way thing. And so what's been up with you, man? What have you been up to? Talk about going deep. You're on there with Kevin Masseri. You're talking about in Kevin Syracuse, both friends of ours, especially Kevin Syracuse. What do you make of these off seasons, these extensions?
Yeah, so far I love what Brandon Bean has been doing with the extensions of Khalil Shakir, Terrell Bernard, Greg Rousseau, and Reed Ferguson, which I don't think is talked about enough. And as far as Built in Buffalo goes, I am the producer for the Going Deep podcast. And right now we are working on our off-season wish list.
Yeah, well, we definitely wish that we had a little bit more cap than we do, but we are making room. If we're going to treat this like, Mario Williams' mansion down the street from me that still is not finished, that is still on the market for $2.6 million, do you think all those restructured bedrooms are filled, or you think Big Baller Bean definitely has a few more left in the tank that we're not seeing? That being predicated, do you see a pre-draft trade happening? One that really would wet your beak, one that would shock the waves, much like the Vaughn Miller one did, and much like. Wide receiver. God damn it. Where's number 8? Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper, yeah. There you go.
So thanks for the help on that, Dick. So what do you think? Do you think there's still more room on the restructure boat? And do you see a pre-draft splash?
Yeah, I do see Brandon Bean trading for Myles Garrett because we have seen it now several times with the Chiefs in the Super Bowl against Tampa Bay and the Eagles. You get pressure with 4, the Chiefs are going to struggle. So I do see Brandon Bean trading for Myles Garrett because that's what we have needed the last few times in the playoffs against.
And you think that happens pre-draft?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the question I asked Ty, and Ty's going to have a little conversation with you as well. Who do you pair Myles Garrett with at the opposing rush end?
Greg Rousseau.
Greg Rousseau. Why do you say that? He's traditionally more of a wide 3. But with that wide extension, do you think that causes chaos just with the dynamicism and pure athleticness? Myles Garrett is an athletic freak. Greg Rousseau is an athletic freak. Do you think it's just a no Diddy, it's just a freak off on our D line if we acquire him?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it would be a freak off, no Diddy. Greg Rousseau has proven the ability to get to the quarterback too, and as well, we already know what Myles Garrett can do. So having those two, and like Matt spoke on earlier, getting a true one tech to go alongside with Ed Oliver, that sounds pretty nasty to me.
Your old friend, Mr. Whittle, says, Pat, you are wrong. And I don't know if you know anything about this network. Whittle 2K is always correct.
Right.
And
yes, he is.
I don't know if you caught this, Matt. His take on if you get cut from the Browns, that you're going right to the Argonauts was the most piss your pants funny thing that I've seen in a while. Because you know what? It's probably curtains. So
yeah, I saw that. That was good.
Shout out Whittle. Catch them on the Coast to Coast on Wednesdays. Especially, you have a great relationship with Beyond. Everybody on this network has an opinion and a different vantage point. So that way, when we go live, you're going to see different vantage needs.
Yeah, we were live for almost 4 hours yesterday doing the Sabres trade deadline.
Someone sounds unemployed. I'm just kidding. Yeah, we haven't announced your next career banger yet. But if you got that time, who's sitting at home right now without a team, Matt and Ty, that's kind of twiddling their thumbs and keeping it and keeping their body in condition to go? Maybe they're not doing the Terrell Owens workouts in the driveway for the media, but they're keeping it low key and keeping the body right. Do you think there's anybody that's searching for a team right now that could land up on the Bills?
I think that one of them could be Jonathan Allen. We'll definitely see if that's something that happens there. I think he is a little bit older of a player. but I think that he still has some in the tank left if you could get him here for a 1-year deal. But I'm still of the mind I'm a big fan of either like a T.R. Tart or DJ Jones, BJ Hill, one of those guys to play next to Ed Oliver and really unlock him, because if you can find somebody that gets him unlocked and is also able to keep players off of your second level in Milano and Bernard, I think this defense is able to go to the next level.
And I'm gonna address this one with Whittle, because if anybody doesn't know, Whittle watches, to quote Beyond, a lot of football. My take is you need to marry the coverage with an improved athletic interior defensive tackle, and that is brilliant, because we're gonna talk about the big cat. The big cat talking the mic.
Paw.
And the big cat paw is disrupting those throwing lanes, getting those guys' hands off your body to disrupt anything. I think, honestly, you get somebody with those big mitts up there that can disrupt the vision and take away those bang seam throws, especially when we're in cover 2. That's as good as a Pro Bowl safety, Matt.
Yeah.
You could talk about that. The guys that are getting their heads up, Chris Jones, the Micah Parsons, and they're both doing it from dynamically different positions, but with Whittle, to K's point, with the same pedigree of athleticism. So,
and that's the thing. What do we always say about Patrick Mahomes about athleticism? About going against him?
I don't want anyone coming out of coverage blitzing, whether it be a dog, whether it be a robber. I don't want anyone blitzing Patrick Mahomes, whether it's from the edge, whether it's from the dog. I don't want anyone blitzing Patrick Mahomes who is
less athletic.
Who's less athletic than Patrick Mahomes. Keeping it with Whittle here. He's saying Bobby Brown from the Rams, younger, cheaper, bigger, stronger. Too big, too fast, too young. Matt, Bobby Brown, man. There's beauty in the bits, right? And Super Producer Ty, would you agree that there's beauty in the bits? That's how we got, a Floyd who earned himself a great deal with the Niners. That's how we got a Jerry Hughes, who was a first-round pick for the Colts.
The Colts, yeah.
And there's beauty in the bits rather than how they got in the door of the NFL. Don't predicate that, because the longer you get from the draft, it's just a headline. It's like when you leave Google. Former Google executive goes and starts his next fraud company. Shout out Elon Musk. Anyway, no politics here. It's third and manageable.
Yeah,
good luck managing
no
that tech. Yeah.
Please, no
so,
politics.
but I think there's beauty in the bits, like Whittle says. And if you want to tune in to the Coast to Coast podcast, he is going to cover the coast to coast of where to unearth these FCS guys, these underperforming, out of scheme guys. I think some of these guys that are on year 4 contracts that weren't first round guys that are on team 1. It could be a question of I didn't succeed to the maximum potential because of scheme. Matt, what do you feel on that one?
Yeah, no, I'm of the same mind too, but I think that they need a more of a proven guy. I don't want to see anybody else come in and not be, we don't need somebody we don't need to take a flyer on anybody else at this point right now. We just need to bring in guys that are going to help them get over the hump.
And I'll give it to Pat real quick. Pat, who moves the needle more for you, a Myles Garrett or a DK?
Me personally,
is that largely predicated on the side of the ball that we're trying to improve?
I look at what I know. Matt spoke on it earlier. Josh Allen had the ball 3 minutes and 33 seconds left, but I still think that we need to focus more on our defense. Just because we have saw the last few times we have played the Chiefs in the playoffs, we have not been able to get Mahomes on the ground. So I really do believe that Myles Garrett would move the needle more.
Gotcha. And when it comes to getting him on the ground, I'll throw it back. This guy's killing it right now. I'm agreeing with everything he's saying. Gotta collapse and condense the pocket. Matt, you played D-line. What does that mean to you? Because you know it can come from the edge, and it can come from a one-tech like Horrible Harry did, like Jordan Phillips did, like the most athletic guy that I truly believe is on this roster, Daquan Jones. Obviously, we need to get him back and secure him. where he's going to be
they
playing
need
his
to-
most meaningful football.
They need
But
to start funneling that up the middle and
What
and
does that mean? Let's
funneling
educate.
yeah, so I mean it's basically like Whittle said, collapsing the pocket on the inside to cause pressure to whoever the quarterback is, so they have no place to step up, and then or also they're going to funnel them to the outside to either whoever's on the edge, whether it's Rousseau, Epinesa, whoever it is, Von Miller.
And also, when you have a show-stopping guy playing a one tech or straight up zero, that requires your center to not only make the calls, make the pro set adjustments, but also requires your guard to come in and double team. That frees up the guy we just paid, Terrell Bernard. I mean, Matt, do you remember when I went through that whole thing when we played the Texans, I believe?
Yeah.
Where the wall off zone turn?
Yep.
He was free to defend that hash, wall off his guy, which is basically get an arm on him
flip the hip
and
and-
flip the hips and come inside. And that is one of the biggest highlight reasons to pay the man.
Right.
And that all predicates itself with strong, condensing, aggressive defensive line play.
Yep.
Amazing comment from Whittle.
Well, I mean, you want to go back and look at one of the best defenses ever to play the game. Like, when you talk about it, you had Tony Saragusa keeping guys off of
Rest
Ray
in peace.
Lewis, and that's why that they were considered, that 2000s Raven defense was considered one of the best defenses to ever play the game, only behind probably the Chicago Bears, and it's arguable. It's not like LeBron and Jordan. So.
Right. Yeah, I feel like you should have workshopped that comparison just a little
Probably.
bit harder.
Probably.
Pat, what are we missing on this? What's on your mind going into this week? Where are you at with James Cook? Well, we went an entire show without talking about it. Do you think Dalvin's in his ear? And the question I've been asking a lot of people is, can we compare the shelf life of Dalvin Cook to the potential, because he has all the same DNA, the potential shelf life of what we saw in Dalvin Cook kind of making an exit almost like a James Gurley style?
Well, I do think that
Todd Gurley.
I do think that Dalvin has been in James's ear, because we saw it during the season last year. Every time there was a James Cook highlight play, Dalvin Cook's out tweeting $20 million a year. I know the reports say James wants 15. Me personally, I'm not giving James Cook $15 million. If he wants to settle on 11 or 12, that's something I'll be more willing to pay, but I can't pay him 15.
What? Where does that reside with you? Matt, I believe is 12 spot 7.5.
For what?
James
12.25.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely be okay with paying 12.75. I'm not willing to give him 15.
Yeah. So you can't pay everybody, but we did just pay Greg Rousseau, top 12 in QB hurries, AJ 6 sacks, 2 years in a row playing less than 40% of defensive snaps. I mean, Vaughn Miller doesn't have a great snap count. I don't know if that's load management. He did deal with a suspension issue, of which we're going to bypass for ceremonious reasons. But you also got to consider, lads, and I'm going to throw it to producer Ty. Who's going to carry the boats? Who's going to play special teams? A lot of these value receivers. You get a DK Metcalf, he's not going to play special teams. You got James Cook re-signed, he's not going to play special teams. You need the Reggie Gilliams, you need the Reed Fergusons, you need the the Max. You need. I mean, Benford's kind of. You want to pay Benford like the way he's been playing. You don't want to sacrifice defensive snaps for injury on special teams. Where are you at with? Do you think it takes us out of the running, signing these big names, knowing that we have to fill out a roster with guys who are going to willingly go all out for those? I'll bring it to Matt first, and then to Ty. Do you think it's still a rookie's job to contribute, like a Cole Bishop? It's still a rookie's job to contribute on special teams, despite the fact that we bring in a Micah Hyde for the tutelage to focus on the defensive side of the ball. How are you going to fill out these special team spots? Because it's a big game. Smiley's gone.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely something that they definitely are gonna. It's gonna be
I'd
interesting.
even propose it to Whittle too.
It's
yeah.
gonna be interesting to see how they fill it out with the new special teams coach. You know, so I really think that. You know, I do think that they bring back Matt Collins, so he's definitely going to be somebody that is there.
Ty's not in his head for Matt Collins. You want Matt Collins?
Absolutely.
Was he not our top guy? Was he not our top wide receiver? Right?
Is Javon on?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So turn it up a little louder so people hear you. Was he not our top guy, Tyler? Yes. Is he? He hits me with an Aaron Williams, but even Aaron Williams didn't play special teams that much. So is Matt Collins? He's an old dog. Is he going to play the special teams?
I don't see him playing special teams.
Is Amari Cooper? I mean, he's not with. Amari Cooper didn't play special teams.
He's not
old
going
dog.
to. Yeah, he's not going to.
Kincaid, young cat. Is he playing special teams?
Gets injured too much already.
So I repeat, is Damar Hamlin? Is he playing special teams?
He's not going to be here.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be here.
But I'm saying, in all these Damar Hamlin types of guys who have these shades of brilliance on defense, and they're young guys who typically special teams is a young man game, unless you're Steve Tasker.
I mean,
shout out him.
Shakira, you just paid the man. You can't put him back there. He covered a couple games last year. You can't do it again. You just paid him.
Silas Will, Student, yes, got to use those picks late to roster guys who play teams as well as their side of the ball.
Yep. Yeah, that's 100% true.
I mean, this is a real concern that I might browbeat. Who's playing?
Like I said,
everybody wanted Smiley gone.
You're bringing back Matt Collins, or hopefully they bring back Matt Collins. But he's definitely going to play special teams. You know, if they bring.
But is he getting too old?
No, not at all.
Okay,
not at all. He's gonna play. He's gonna play. He's gonna be a gunner on punt, just like he was last year. We saw the incredible hit he had in the Denver game in the playoffs. You know, to stop Mims dead in his tracks, gets the ball thrown at him. But no, I mean, I really I'm excited and interested to see how they fill out the special teams with the new special teams coordinator.
I really think the last time I got jacked up for a return in man was Naeem Himes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, his sister hits him with a jet ski, you know, or whatever the way that shakes out. I mean, these guys that are truly dynamic kind of seems like a thing of the past. The Julian Edelmans, you know, the Deion Sanders, his name escapes me. He plays at the University of Miami. Devin Hester. Is it because the rules have changed? Is it because punting's categorically gotten better? The hang time,
it's just
the
basically
placement
become a long run play now. You know, because they gotta block. They gotta figure out how to block.
We did return that one after Damar. Who returned that?
Naeem Hines.
Thank you.
I really do think that you know. Excuse me. I'm not a big fan of the new kickoff rule personally.
Why is that?
I'm just not. I just don't like the way that it is. I mean, it basically turns the kickoff into a run play.
Do you think it was as optically, because the NFL? Matt, and I'll go to super producer Ty. The NFL has a situation with player risk liability when it comes to dangerous plays. I don't think they did that for any reason of continuity of the game or to improve the gridiron game. I think they had to do something dynamic and optically to change the tides, and it's almost like a game of guess and check. Is this we still? I don't know the empirical data. We're even with the Guardian caps, we're still seeing a ton of lower body injuries and above the neck injuries. I think that was done for that. I pray. I'm not a cynicist. I just don't see the improvement. You don't. I mean, we haven't had a Kevin Everett situation. Who's the cat from Rutgers?
LeGrand.
Eric LeGrand.
Yeah,
he's got a great coffee brand in New Jersey, by the way. He's doing very well. He does a lot for the disabled. By the way, shout out Poncho's Army. Can't get the meat raffle tickets anymore. We don't shop them enough. Great partnership with Be Cool Fool and all of them at Poncho's Army. Quick question for super producer Ty. You saw the Green Bay Packers propose a rule change as we talk about special teams. The tush push. They want that out of Dodge. What do you think about that? Where you at? You call it the snowplow, the brotherly shove, the tush push. Where you at with that? I always thought that was aiding the rudder. It's not.
I thought it was so interesting that McDermott was on board with it, and he cited health
probably for the
safety
Chiefs
issues,
game.
and then they did the research. There wasn't a damn play where someone got injured on the tush push. Not a damn play, and he was citing that. So I thought that was kind of odd. I'll just want to put that out there. I'm all
That's a
for
good point.
because you know what, Josh Allen, I would say 9 times out of 10 he gets it done.
I mean, it's 90.
As long as you're not playing Kansas City in the AFC Championship game.
98%. I mean,
Which is more than 9 out of 10. Yeah.
and let's be serious.
Is that predicated on good center play too? Of course.
It is, absolutely.
And we got a great center in McGovern. We had a great center with Mitch Morris.
Retirement. Enjoy it, baby.
Yeah, you got to. Last thing here, as we wrap this up, we've gone. As we get more viewers, we like to provide more content. Whittle, one less defensive lineman and add an extra safety. You can potentially play the slot or the linebacker. Who is it though? Who do you entrust with that? Because they still got to set the force. They still got to set the edge. Matt, what's the force? You got the Cloud Force,
Cloud Force,
Sky Force,
it's
and Backer Force. What's the responsibility in Cloud Force?
It's the
quarterback.
Well, if you're not going to let me answer,
I just don't have a high degree of confidence that you're taking the bait.
Sky Force is your safeties, your Cloud Force is your
edge,
corners, and your
turning
backer
everything
force,
inside.
Yep.
And, if we're playing, if we don't trust our corners as we have them right now, you want to get them off the ball. You don't want them jammed because the jamming situation, unless you're damn good at it, pretty binary situation. You get torched, that safety in a cover 2 is pretty far away.
Yep.
It also gets very hard to play Cloud Force to turn everything in. But if they're doing, we don't see a lot of outside jet sweep seasons. You don't see a lot of student body rights.
Yeah, that's why I think that it's going to be very interesting to see with the new coaching, the couple of new coaching hires and things like that, if they do, start moving more towards man. In the back end of the defense, and
I don't think so.
As to why that they would need,
man is predicated that you have
more better pass rushers.
I think Mad's predicated on you got the guys who want to play it and can play it and can stick their nose in places. Rasul Douglas, he will play man, but it's gonna compromise, I think, the run game. We got torched on a couple jet sweeps. What was the game? We just couldn't stop the jet sweeps. AJ got torched a couple times.
The Rams.
Yeah, they got into a jet sweep. We put that on tape. Different year, different players, but same scheme. That scheme comes from Bobby Babbitt's dad, Bobby Babbage Sr., comes from Sean McDermott, and it comes out of our play caller,
Jim
Bobby
Johnston.
Babbage.
It's all the way back to them, and but that's the thing, and I'm wondering if Sean McDermott's changing a little bit of philosophy or anything like that. Not necessarily changing the entire defense, but
you got to tell it's who's calling defense. We always do this.
Well, it's Bobby Babbage, but it's still.
So what does Sean have to do with it?
It's still Sean McDermott's defense. He's still.
I never agree with you when you do this. I never agree with this. When you do this, it is not. It is Bobby Babbitt's. And if you want to call it Sean's, Sean was of the apprenticeship of the system of Bobby Babbitt's father. I think he's got more of the reins, and I think that was what made us so successful. Matt is the three-headed monster. The three-headed monster in McDermott, Bean, and Josh. The three-headed monster having real three-head coaches controlling their time on the clock. Brady, McDermott, Babbage.
But it's still.
I just hate when we call it Sean McDermott's defense. He's a defensive coach. He's one of the rarities. But if we have Andy, go ahead.
It's still Sean McDermott's defense in general, and they're Bobby Babbage is taking that philosophy, and
it was his dad's.
But it wasn't his dad's. It was Jim Johnston's defense.
But if we're gonna call it Sean McDermott's defense, isn't that the defense that got him fired from Philadelphia?
Who, Jim Johnson?
No, Sean McDermott.
No, because he went to Carolina and they.
But he was fired.
They were 15-1.
Okay. So, but which predicates it more on that man thing that you just said. You got to have the players to play it.
Right. Absolutely.
Got it. So we'll take any more questions you guys We'll take a little break really quick. We'll probably go for, I don't know, I'm having fun. Like, we want to go into like another 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Cool. Station on vacation. Thank you for chilling with fucking Dew Crew. For the best Italian food in Western New York, Elliot Apollo's, call 716-825-3675. The Lardon Construction Group.
Fubo TV, the official streaming service of Do Champions. FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Do Champions.
For all your summertime needs, beauty pools, as well as kayak pools.
CX Chronicles, your total customer solutions focused manager. W.GG, the official energy drink of Do Champions.
Hey, Sons of Erie, our artwork looks better on your walls. Hamburg Brewing, please visit our tap room on Boston State Road, Hamburg, New York. And finally,
Fat Boy Surf Club for all your surfing needs.
what are you saying? What's getting you through this off season right now? Any college basketball? Any of that like working for you right now? Because it's a long time till draft season. At least 2 more Chiefs are going to get arrested.
Oh my God!
So, what do you got for me, Pat?
Yeah, I've been paying a lot of attention to baseball. That's kind of what's been helping me get through this off season. And I used to be. You said what?
What are pitchers and catchers?
Yeah, the pitchers are the guy who throws the ball, and the catchers are the guy who receives.
Oh my God, Pat, you're out. Get this guy off the air. What do pitchers and catchers report?
Oh, they already did. Spring training is already underway. The Cubs play a game in 9 days.
Comment about your sexuality, dude. Like, come on, man. Yeah, having fun here.
Yeah. The Cubs and the Dodgers play in 9 days in Tokyo. To start the regular season.
Let's go around the room real quick of the new guys on the roster. The one thing I'd love, like a little nuance here, I would love to actually hear is what's the going rate for a number?
What do you mean?
Like
Explain that.
A number, like Josh. Say Josh, he's a rookie. He really wanted it, and I don't know. Terrell Owens is wearing 17. What's the going rate for a number, and how much would you pay for 78? I'm a 16 guy. Ty, I believe you wore 6. What's the going rate for a number these days?
I don't know. It really depends if it's a because obviously a veteran player is asking a rookie first or second year player for that number. So I've seen as much as cars being bought for people.
Who did that?
Huh?
Who did that?
It was
Was it
baseball.
Odell?
It was a baseball.
Juan Soto. Juan Soto.
Yes, it was Juan Soto. Thank you. Yeah, it was Juan Soto.
There's no cap there. It's as long
but
as
that's also coming out of his own pocket. It's not has anything to do with cap or anything.
Yeah,
like
it
that.
does because they can pay him oodles of money where the money doesn't matter.
True.
Pat, what do you think the going rate right now is? For a number these days. Say you got oodles of money, you sign a $40 million extension. You really want to wear, I don't know, you're a loser, so number 0.
Hey, you can't call me word number 0. Me personally, I would go up to 150,000, 200,000 for the number. It just depends how much that number means to me.
Yeah,
but I know some players
I'll
might.
tell you what, the money in my bank account means a lot more than the number I'm wearing on your chest, because if you're a team player, the number and the name on the back of the jersey, they pale in comparison to the number across your chest. But I do wish Darren Ravel was like better at his job, and he got it. Whittle's telling me he paid $25K. I was very attached to my number. Aaron Rodgers quietly changed his number from 12 to 8 because obviously 12 is retired for Joe Namath.
Right.
And to flip that,
does he go back to 12 now?
Does he get it on team? And that's what I'm going to ask producer Ty. Is Aaron Rodgers on a team? And how quickly will he be on one if you do agree? Is he worth the headache?
I think he will be on the team. Is he worth the headache? Time will tell.
I think he's going to get less operational agency from owners and coaches based on what transpired in the Big Apple.
He might stay in the Big Apple. He might go to the Giants.
I don't know if Dable would have him.
I don't know. I mean, it was I could see both him and Devontae going across the road. Devontae Adams playing with Malik Neighbors and Aaron Rodgers. That would be.
But Devontae Adams has not won a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers
ever.
Like,
He believes in him.
past performance is not indicative of
Future result, but I mean, it's.
I did think it was hysterical that Jets fans were co-signing a Super Bowl and like 2 or 3 MVPs that he did not win anywhere close to an East Coast stadium.
Didn't even make the playoffs either year.
Spaghetti Steve. I don't. Do we know Spaghetti Steve?
I don't think.
He's a frequent commenter. Spaghetti Steve. All for carb loading. Shout out Iliad Apollos as you drink the Mick Ultras. Are the Kai ear rumors official yet? You want to take that one, or you want me to?
Don't know.
Everybody, Spaghetti Steve, we do have a good personal relationship, no flex or anything like that. It's well documented on the podcast and all the charity work we do with him. I texted a few people. Shout out Mookie.
Yeah.
He was wrong, and maybe he jumped the gun. As we try to assign value and try to, be first to market. I learned a hard lesson with, go ahead, Tommy Doyle. We knew he was retiring. Without going into the story, I was a little quick on the trigger. He did end up retiring, but at sacrifice, you care about these players. So I care about Kyer, and I reached out to everybody kind of but him, and unfounded as far as I can tell. But then again, it'd be foolish of me to think that people I can text are in rooms that I can't get into. So and that's the best I got for you, my man. We'll take any more questions. We got a comment here. I don't think Rodgers will get a starting QB job. Then if that is true, I don't think Rodgers wants to come back.
Right. And I do think that, it just seems like with the Giants, when they were in on Stafford, I think that they may move to Aaron Rodgers. Just because I think Dable knows that he's only got so much time left. I still think that they draft a quarterback if there's one available for them, but I do think that they draft a quarterback, but I think that they go after a veteran to go in there because I think he knows his time is very, very short-lived there if he does not make a statement this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Ty, we'll let you read that next question that's on the screen. Going to you.
If we get a cornerback, I really like the level kid from East Carolina or the kid from Kentucky. What do we think on that, guys?
Matt?
So Siobhan Ravel, I have him actually ranked as my top 5. He's my fifth ranked. I think I still have him 5th ranked. Let me see here.
Is he reachable? It doesn't really matter what you have. Is he reachable for us?
For sure.
While addressing what we've already outlined on this podcast, is he reachable?
I would rather have.
And do we find an impactful starter from him?
I would rather have Trey Amos in the first round if he's available. I think that I would rather have him than Trey Amos rather than because like we said, best available when available, right?
And that's versus what? Need, depth, development,
weighted utility.
Weighted utility, exactly.
And I really think Trey Amos probably has the best ball skills in the entire draft. I think he's the best football IQ in the entire draft for a cornerback. He just is always around the ball, and I think you pick up somebody like him, and then you still the defensive tackle draft is deep enough where you can take a guy with 56 or 62 that is gonna be on this team, or make plays on this team because of the depth that this draft has for defensive tackle. Where I think there is a little bit of a fall off in the cornerback room after. After Ravel.
Yeah, well, I'll ask Pat real quick. Pat, what position group, knowing what we have right now on the roster, if you get drafted to this Buffalo Bills team, what position group is going to be the quickest to be called upon to get on the field? We drafted defensive linemen inherently through our defensive rotation. It's not a lot of high pressure snaps. They're not going to put you in on third and manageable or third and long, they're not going to give you that much of a leash. But what position group, if you're drafted the Bills within the first 4 rounds, do you think digs his cleats in on the gridiron? You see him the quickest out of all the ones.
I think it's cornerback. Just looking at our roster, Christian Benford's on our roster, Kyer Elam, Taron Johnson. Then we have guys like Jamarcus Ingram. So I definitely do think it would be a corner to go alongside Christian Benford and Taron Johnson.
You got Whittle contesting your conversation there, Matt.
Yes. Well, here's the thing.
Well, talk to us about who he's bringing up right now.
It's Jahdae Barron. I do think that I think that for the reachable players, that's kind of more what I meant is reachable players, because I don't think.
Where do you see him going?
I have him in the top 10. I have Barron in the top 10.
And we're not gonna. I mean, we're not gonna leverage. I think a player or future picks to get up from what 30 up until the top 10. That's burning down the neighborhood to construct a new build with a project manager who's only built a couple houses.
Right.
You know, there's a difference between collegiate ball. Ask Derrick Henry. There's a difference between collegiate ball and the NFL. It's not even close. Like, I thought I was the bee's knees playing college ball. I thought it was the absolute bee's knees. And that was pretty good. But my couple days, I was not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close. What I was talking about, IQ only, not the player. Maddie, the IQ is hard to test back, but they do, and talking to a Sil Moba and guys from, VPs of player personnel and stuff like that, they're talking to like their 8th grade jazz dancers, teachers. They're talking about guys from AAU that they played hoops with. They're diving in as far back as they can go to acquire some of this information. And shout out to our scouting department. Shout out to our pro personnel department, Matt. You lose guys, and just through the development of like Joe Shane, the tutelage of Brandon Bean. Brandon Bean, you got to remember, he's a first-time GM. Yeah. People forget that. Ty, I bring it to you. Brandon Bean's a first-time GM. Where do you grade him out? And do people forget he is a first-time GM?
I mean, you're going to have your ups and downs, but if you look what he did, this is an obvious answer. I mean, no one believed in Josh Allen coming out of Wyoming.
Do you think he built his career and his longevity because of that one pick? I don't subscribe to that. No. I think he's constructed a great body of work outside of Josh.
I loved the James Cook pick out of Georgia. I mean, that's 2 baller picks right there. I mean, Greg Rousseau, he's hot and cold, but
he's also 19 when we drafted him, something like that.
Yeah. But also too, Josh Allen, if he's not good, he gets you fired.
He said that.
Yeah.
He said that in an interview. He said, you know what? If people don't like this pick, screw it. I'm not going to have a job anyway, so I'm rolling the dice. And that's what I love about that, man.
Cowboy
that's why
ball.
He's big baller Bean.
Pat, I go to you. Do you think Bean has developed his rep as big baller Bean? Do you think the Josh Allen pick cemented it, or did the Bills own the land and he did the construction?
No, I think Brandon Bean definitely has claimed, he's big baller Bean. We've seen the moves that he has made with like the Josh Allen, like you guys just talked about. He said if it didn't pan out, he wouldn't be here. And right there is a big baller, somebody who's willing to take a risk. And on top of that, he took a swing at Von Miller too, and traded for Stephon Diggs. So yeah, he's definitely a big baller.
Guys, you've been listening to the Third and Manageable podcast. It's everything you need.
Nothing you don't.
Who are we talking to? Matt, I'll throw it to you.
I got nothing tonight. I don't think there's anybody that needs to be talked to at all tonight. Free agency, the tampering period starts on Monday. Free agency starts 4:00 on Wednesday. And the Bills at this point are cap compliant. So there's not really anything that they have to do. I saw it all over Twitter that, people are saying, oh, we should hear some stuff about restructures this. But because the way that Brandon Bean builds contracts and the language that he builds into contracts, we don't actually have to hear about any of that. We never actually have to hear about any of the actual restructures being done. Will you probably hear stuff from Adam Schefter or Rappaport or anything like that about conversions and things like that? Sure. I mean, but they don't actually have to put those numbers out on the airwaves, on Twitter, on anything like that. Those can just be done, and they'll be announced on Wednesday when the new league year starts.
Thank you, everybody, coming on. Thank you for listening. Listen to 30 Manageable podcast. Everything you need.
Nothing you don't.
Hey, Ty, good to be seen, buddy. Matt,
Good to be seen.
talk to you guys later.